Okay, we are live. So welcome to everybody who is here live with us. It's amazing to have you all here. The energy feels great. I appreciate everybody that's here at 1 a.m., 4 a.m., 1 a.m. in Rio, 4 a.m. I'm not sure where they are, but it's great to have you guys. I am Darling from xoxdarling.com. You can find me there, self-alchemist, intuitive guide, whatever you want to call me, designer, person, whatever you want to call lifesaver, tis I. And again, you can find me at www.xoxdarling.com. In there, I have a ton of goodies such as e-courses, I've got workshops, I've got a ton of things. Right now, you can take a look at, I have one-on-one sessions that you could book. Right now, you can take a look at my four-week group mentorship program that starts on March 6th. And you can take a look at all that at xoxdarling.com. This is Susan Grace, and she will tell you where she can find you. Her number one title is my best friend.
Oh, it is my number one title. I'm Susan Grace. First of all, hello, YouTube. This is our very first hangout that we're going to post on YouTube. Hello, YouTube world. We've been doing these hangouts for a while. We've developed a following that we're in love with, and now we've decided that we're going to post the recordings, 1 hour of the recording for this hangout on YouTube so that other people can see it too. You won't see, if you're seeing this on YouTube, you won't see what we talked about before we started recording, and you won't see what happens after hours either, so that's a good idea to come over and be with us live. Whenever you are live, you have access to chat and Q&A, and like I said, before we start recording and after, because we're only going to post 1 hour on YouTube. But I'm Susan Grace, and you can find me on susangrace.org, Susan Grace, Facebook.com, Susan Grace Astro, and on Instagram, Susan Grace Astro. Every day I post my reading of the astrological energies for the collective on social media. If you go to my new website, which Darling is about to launch, oh my God.
It looks so dope, guys. I love it.
Yeah, it is really
it's
exciting.
Different from her.
Yeah. Darling has evolved me and my brand with her loving care. She is pushing me into a new identity and a rebirth, and that's going to happen probably not tonight. You know, we're going to get sleepy. So
tomorrow. It'll happen tomorrow.
It'll probably happen tomorrow, and we're brave that it's going to happen around the eclipse. Yay, we can do it. Yeah, so new website tomorrow, but on that website, you're going to be able to sign up to get weekly love letters from me. I'm going to have a weekly blog as well that fleshes out the astrological posts I put on social media, that if you follow me for a while, you can tell what I'm talking about. But if you're brand new to me, you might be like, what is she talking about? If you go to my website, you'll be able to see that fleshed out more in my way of reading astrology from a philosophical and empathic direction.
From an awesome way.
Thank you.
The most awesome way I know.
All right, we're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube.
We're on YouTube. Suddenly I feel like I want to talk about trolls. If anybody trolls us, I swear to God, I'm going to shut them down. Like, so fast. Like, don't even try. It's a waste of your time.
Like, just don't. First of all, I just want you trolls to know we laugh at you. We do.
Yeah, we're like, ha, 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 there's another one.
we message each other with screenshots, and then we laugh. And then
with screenshots, you're terrible. You shouldn't have told them that. We have screenshots.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so do you want me to break down the astrology?
That's how we do it. Yes. Break it down.
So first of all, thank you everybody who has stuck with us with patience to come back on, because the last time we were on was the last full moon, so we've been out for approximately a month. In between that, we had a new moon that we were not on for, and in there I was dealing with a loved one who is ill, but then also that taught me a lot about myself, and it was a mirror that I was not expecting, and Darlene really directed me towards, listen, maybe this is a time to reevaluate how you feel about yourself and your view of the world and what you have to offer. And so on top of caring for a loved one, now there's the rebranding that's happened with me. So it's totally on me. I apologize, but we're getting back in it. So the astrology, I'm going to break this down. As I said before, if you don't give a shit about astrology, or if this is too nerdy, take a nap, because because Darlene is going to flesh it out for you in a second. What's happening tomorrow is a full moon, which means that the sun and the moon are opposite in the chart, but it's also an eclipse, meaning that the shadow of the earth is eclipsing the light that it's gaining from the sun. Okay. There's eclipse seasons twice a year. In this part of the hemisphere, it's every spring, every fall, every spring, every fall, every spring, every fall. And they're called the bringers of change. They bring change in that you don't expect and that makes you uncomfortable, and it pushes you into being a different version of yourself. Whenever the eclipses are starting to come in, usually as an empath, I can feel them coming and I can look at the chart and basically see about where I think it's going. But I tell people all the time that I won't be able to know for sure until they get here. When they get here, they're bringing something you couldn't see. So we're pretty damn close. The first one's tomorrow.
I'll say.
I don't think we can get closer to that. Okay, so what happens is during eclipse season, the first eclipse opens the window for the eclipse season. The second eclipse closes it. And in between, we find ourselves really set adrift in a way that feels like we're out at sea in no man's land without a motor or oars or rudder or a sail or a compass or anything. We're just like, I don't even know what's happening. Happens every time. But the astrology can point to the basic theme of what it's trying to bring in. So this eclipse season that starts tomorrow, but we're already in the window. In eclipses, empaths feel them sooner. Really strong empaths feel them months sooner. And you can feel them later too, like it reverberates. It goes boom, 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 like that. But we're in the middle of it now. So the first eclipse that's going to open the window is a full moon lunar eclipse, where the moon is at 22 degrees Leo, the sun is at 22 degrees Aquarius. It's on the axis between what do I individually feel in my heart and what's happening in the collective. Since it's at 22 degrees, which is the Uranian degree that rules Aquarius, it means something is coming up out of nowhere. On top of it being an eclipse, it's also going to be something that happens out of nowhere. I've been saying for months that I feel like I feel like by now something's going to happen to make us very aware of why we need to lock arms in sacred union and have a matter of purpose. Something's going to happen. It may happen in your individual lives. It may happen as an epiphany. It may happen as a shift. I think probably it's going to happen in the wide world. Something that's going to happen in humanity, which would be Aquarius, that triggers how you find joy in your heart, Leo. And I think it's going to make people go, ah, like that. Ah. I think the confusion is going to be that will trigger fear, and it shouldn't. It shouldn't trigger fear. It should trigger that we have to stand up for what we truly believe in. And here's why. So that opposition of the eclipse is in a mystic rectangle between Uranus and Eris and Aries. Eris is at the 22 degree of Uranus and Aries, opposing Jupiter retrograde at 23 Libra. That's another opposition that talks about showing up well for yourself, opposing so that giving and receiving is equal and balanced and in flow with other people. Okay? Jupiter retrograde means like, okay, where do we stand about this? Where do we stand about this? Jupiter's taking a stand back and be like, well, is giving and receiving equal? And if it's not equal, it means that you're not standing up well for yourself. So we have two oppositions speaking about the same thing. Our heart and our own ability to stand up for ourselves versus giving and receiving in relationships and what's fair, and humanity. Where are we going with humanity? And that's not all. So that mystic rectangle feeds into a triangle of opportunity, which makes it a pentagram. And I know I'm nerding out here, but for people who follow astrology, this is important. It feeds into a pentagram. The pentagram means that those four corners of individual versus the collective, or individual versus other people, that has to all be in balance to feed into the head of the pentagram. The anatomy of a man, where it's 2 arms and 2 legs and a head, right? The appendages have to be in balance. That's the mystic rectangle. But then you have the head. The appendages are supporting the head, right? The head is Saturn in Sagittarius on the galactic center. Right now, everything that we're going through about self versus other is trying to elevate our beliefs about who we are as people as a matter of philosophy, and be willing to stand up for it. And the energy of God universe is full on backing it up with the galactic center. One more thing. The sextile between Jupiter retrograde in Libra and Sagittarius. I hope I have this right. Somebody in chat, call me out if I'm not right about this. But it's the sextile between Jupiter retrograde in Libra and Saturn galactic center in Sagittarius are in quincunx to Chiron and Pisces, which is also at 22 degrees. That's the Uranian degree. So that's the finger of God. So we have the eye of God at the head of the pentacle. We have the finger of God pointing to Chiron and Pisces, which I'm saying, listen to me. I'm saying, so it's got to be true, whatever. Which I read as, we cannot do this alone. We need each other. And that's how we elevate out of suffering. That's what that yod says to me. And that's really radical, to know that we need ourselves as individuals to stand up tall, to stand up for what we believe in, to be in full power, but we still need each other, and that gets us out of suffering, and that makes our true beliefs come online through the eye of God. That's what I think this chart looks like. There's so many 22s and Uranian stuff going on that I don't see how we can get through this chart without something happening. And so I think everyone needs to consider that, like I said, we're opening the window of the eclipse season if something happens to make us go, and realize who we are as individuals, what we stand for, and that we need each other. Understand there's a second eclipse coming to close the window. And so do not fucking flip your shit. Don't flip out. stay calm, and understand that we're being pushed through a very rapid evolution. That's all I got.
Hooray! A part of me, it's like, you know what you remind me of? I don't know if this is a movie or where I see it, or maybe it's just complete imagination. But you just remind me of like a little kid at like the top of a church by the bell, just like ringing the bell for the eclipses since like last fall. I think it was. Yeah, last fall.
Yeah, sound the alarms, sound the alarms. And you and I talked about this, about how sound the alarms. Was it you that told me this? I think it was you that told me this, that sound the alarms is not sound the alarms to make everybody panic. Sound the alarms is about us individually. Step the fuck up now. Right now. Everybody stand up. And I've been saying this for months. Yeah. Now we're about to be made very aware about why we need to be.
Susan, don't knock the cat out.
I know. She's a kitten. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Was it really her?
But I'm talking.
Was it really her?
Yes, it was. Anyway. I was saying that by this eclipse, we're going to be made very apparent about why we have to lock arms in sacred union and be purpose-driven. And so, arguably, maybe it's already happened. I don't think so. I think there's something else coming. But the point is to lock arms in sacred union. That ring the alarms is not about ring the alarms. Everybody panic. Ring the alarms is about us as torch bearers, as light bearers. Stand up. Come out of hiding.
Right
now.
Ring the alarm is that personal urgency. It's a sense of urgency for yourself. Like to step the fuck up, to stand up, to know what you believe in, to know who you are. And the energy is really, the closer that we get to the eclipse, the more it feels like it's challenging that. It feels like if it's like, oh yeah, poke. Is that really how you feel about that? Poke. How do you really feel about that? Poke. That's not really how you feel. You know what I'm saying? And we just want to react like, get the fuck off of me. But at the same time,
maybe you're small. Maybe you're small. Maybe you're small. Maybe you're small.
Yeah.
Maybe you're small.
Yep. Maybe you don't matter. Maybe you don't matter. Maybe you don't matter. Any kind of like, negative self-talk, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's something that, I know, Susan, you had a big epiphany around this too. Maybe it's something that you've had a core belief for so long and you've been looking at it in a different way, and all of a sudden there's some real light shine to it and you're just like, this is not what I thought it was. I need to not hold on to this like that.
I've had a lot of those. I mean, first of all, is ringing the alarms. Like for a long time, if you've been following me for a while, I've been like, 911, we're out of time. And I'm like, hang on a second. Hang on a second. We're not out of time. Perhaps time is opening up. That under the old paradigm, we were out of time. But the old paradigm is falling while we're coming up. And so time is actually opening up.
We're stepping into our time.
Stepping into our time. And do you mind if I talk about the suffering thing real quick?
No, I didn't want to mention it because it's your personal thing, but that's what I was.
That's okay. I just don't want to. I don't want to be like, and I have more to say or whatever.
No.
So the last time we saw a massive rush of suffering coming right towards our face, like, boom. We've seen a lot of it because we've been in a very dark time period for the last couple thousand years. But the last time we saw out of nowhere suffering coming like, boom, like here comes the darkness, was whenever our enlightened civilization was falling down into the dark ages, when suffering was coming up to take it over and be like, and take it down. Okay. So the last time in a person's perspective, you see suffering rushing towards you. In that time frame, the exact opposite of the orbit of of our solar system now, that rush really was us going down and suffering coming up. Now, the exact opposite place in our orbit, you can feel the same rush, which will trigger the fuck out of you because you're like, holy shit, we're going down again. We're going down again. But that's not what's happening. As an individual, you can see suffering rushing towards you, but pull back in your perspective. It's because suffering's going down and we're going up. It's still a rush going, but like, boom. Where before we were going down and it was coming up like, boom, like that. Now it's the opposite. We're coming up and it's going down. And so no matter what you witness in the world, you have got to be the light bearer that says,
I'm rising.
Suffering is going down and we are coming up. The goddess is now present. You must hold that light no matter what. No matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Super important.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, darling?
I think it's true. I think that vibrationally, I think that we operate on a vibrational level. And I think that vibrationally, our entire solar system, Earth itself, and all of that is just operating. It's operating at a level that is taking down suffering. And you have to be careful, which is what I feel the internal alarm is trying to tell us. You have to be careful that you vibrationally don't go down with it.
Right? Because I'm telling you, the second eclipse on February 26th is going to be at 8 degrees Pisces when Mars is on Uranus and Eris and Aries. I promise you, a new identity will be formed for everybody on the planet. Either you decide that you are the rising, or you decide, I'm going to roll around in shit and go down with it.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. You either rise up.
Time's up.
And it's in every sense of the word, you know? It's in every single sense of the word. Your rising has to illuminate every single aspect of you. Somebody write that down and send it to me afterwards.
I don't know. I feel like I need a session about that because I'm like, I'm bad all the time. I know it. I'm bad all the time. I be the rising all the time. I'm going to hell. I know it.
I love you. Well, you are in the 4-week mentorship. Perfection.
That's right. I'm in your 4-week mentorship, and you're like, "That's it. I'll get your shit straight.
I'll get you there. We'll talk about that there. But yeah, it has to illuminate every single part of you. Like it has to be. This is where the urgency comes from, because these people, we're feeling the urgency, and here we are, you know, coming to these webinars to learn more and seeking and doing this and doing that, and you still feel the urgency. It's because this is on levels. This is on a lot of levels. It has to resonate. It has to shine on every single part of who you are. We're talking about ascensions. We're talking about you being, it's you being, I wouldn't say completely different because you are who you are, right? But you being this embodiment of the rising. It's sacred.
Right? It's how you show up for one thing is how you show up for everything.
Yeah.
Be in integrity.
Yep.
How you show up for one thing is how you show up for everything.
Yep.
If you're like, fuck it, about everything, about like one or two things, I guarantee you, you're fucking faking it, and you're mostly like, fuck it about everything else. I'm sorry, I need my curse words. I'm from Texas.
Yeah, but that's definitely, you know, that's definitely, and Fireheart just said be in love, and that's something that love is the highest vibration. That is the highest vibration.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So when people say, especially whenever separate, Since the suffering's going down and the rising is coming up, okay, the contrast is severe.
Yeah.
It's severe.
Noticeable.
Okay, so for people who feel suddenly very isolated, very alone, and they think I'm not in love because no one's near me. Differentiate between what we're talking about, being in the energy of love and no one's near me, so how can I possibly be in love? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's the misconception that we have as humans. We have equated love to just romance, or just to other people alone.
Or attention, like pay attention to me.
Yep, attention, romance, somebody else. Like, love cannot exist unless there's another person next to you. And love is, first of all, what we're made of at a cellular, at a vibrational level. It's what we are made of. It's who we are. We just have to tap into it. And it always, and people must be rolling their freaking eyes knowing what the hell's I'm about to say. But of course, it begins with ourselves. It begins with loving, not just me, who I am, but having love and compassion and every single thing that comes from love for myself, for my situation, for who I am, for what I stand for where I am right now. Just having this, just bow to it and just be like, you're hard, you're difficult because I'm by myself, but I love you. I love it. I love where I am right now because it's serving a purpose. Love, 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 love. And
that's what Alicia said. Love where you are right now.
Yeah. Love where you are right now.
Yeah.
Love whatever situation is in. Love on those kittens.
Love on those kittens. Yeah.
Love on those kittens.
May I add to that?
Yeah.
I've been single for 4 years. Okay. And, for a while, whenever I was single, I was like, well, I'm working on my shit or whatever. At 4 years, you start to go, I do believe that's a good amount of time. And so I will say that it doesn't stop with loving yourself. Like, I love the shit out of myself.
No, that's where it starts.
I'm my biggest fan. I think I'm amazing. I'm like, I don't understand why everybody doesn't get this.
How could you not love me?
I'm very lovable. Anyway, but I think that where you start to embody love, even if you're not in like a committed relationship, is that really you go out into the world with your heart wide open.
You love everything.
Well, maybe not love everything, but even if you don't love it, you at least have compassion.
Any form of it, right? Right. Any form.
Yeah. I mean, even if there's a form of love where something, like everything around you is the matrix or the mirror, right? And so if you see something, how is this maybe present within you? How is this maybe something you need to look within yourself and have compassion for the human condition that we feel separate, and it makes us think illogical things. We feel separate and it makes us feel like we're all alone and we can't possibly care for someone that's not like us. Have compassion for the human condition. That's walking in love.
Yep.
Okay. So love is not like, do I have a date this Friday?
Right.
Although, shout out to everybody who has self dates. I just had a self date and I ate all the sushi myself and I didn't give a fuck and I didn't have to share. Eat shit. Okay?
I still have self dates and I'm in a relationship. And I just have to say, like, I know somebody in the chat said, how can one love being single?
Oh my God. Oh my God. Here, I got this one. Ready?
You ain't got to do shit.
You don't have to do shit.
I knew you were going there because it's so fucking true.
Yeah. You don't have to vacuum. You don't have to do the goddamn dishes.
Stop.
I know you're like, I'm sad. Chris, I want to break up.
Can we like be together, but like not be together? Like,
you can nap whenever you want. You can be like, screw it, I'm not taking a shower for 4 days. I mean, like, it's amazing. Single is amazing.
I'm not gonna lie, and he will attest. I told my boyfriend the other day, I'm just like, sometimes I think I should just go live alone. I don't want to break up, but sometimes I feel like I should just go get my own place. And it's for that reason.
I just want to braid my hair for 5 days. Is that okay?
Yeah, like I love me, you know, and trust me, it is possible to love your singleness. You probably, unless you're very lucky like Susan, you probably won't realize it until you're in a relationship and you're just like, damn, I kind of miss me.
Listen, here's when you recognize that you don't mind being alone. Ready? Midlife transits. I'm not kidding. 36 to 43, when you go through a transition where the old version of you that was built on expectations of what people wanted you to be, whenever you open up into a new connection to God universe that you never thought possible before, whenever you feel like you've earned your life, you've earned it because you put so much work into it, whenever you're no longer competing amongst your peers about, can I get attention or whatever, whenever you're starting to be recognized for the words that you say instead of what you look like on paper, midlife transits, I swear to God, best time to be single.
I don't know shit about being in my midlife transit because I'm not there yet.
Oh my God, Darlene is surrounded by people in midlife transits. And what's your catchphrase?
Everybody calm down.
Everybody calm down.
Everybody calm down. Midlife, I don't know. I don't get it because I'm not there yet.
That's okay. We'll hold your hand when you get here.
I feel like when I get there, I'm like, I got this. I got this.
Oh, that's what we all say.
Well, I'm helping everybody else through it. My boyfriend's currently in his. And so that's a daily thing.
And he's just getting started. And oh my God, seriously. Like even I'm like over it with Chris.
He has no problem not giving a fuck.
Don't tell Chris I told you. But I texted him the other day. I'm like, you need to get your shit together. And he's like, okay, I will.
What?
Don't you tell him.
Except this is going on YouTube. I will cut this out. I was like, cut that part out.
No, you can't cut it. No.
I know, because then it'll look all weird in between.
Anyway.
That's what best friends look like.
Where are we? What are we doing?
I texted your boyfriend.
So we're at 9:36. I feel like we should go to Q&A. We normally don't go to Q&A until 45, but I think there might be a lot.
Well, there's only 3 right now.
Oh, okay, then we won't go to Q&A.
Answer those 3 real quick and then keep going.
Okay.
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay, this is a you question. What will Black Moon Lilith moving into Sagittarius mean?
Oh my God. Okay, so Black Moon, first of all, everybody get clear about Black Moon Lilith. People talk about Black Moon Lilith like it's so super shitty or whatever, and it's not super shitty.
Like the modern day retrograde?
Right. Black Moon Lilith, there's 3 Liliths. Black Moon Lilith is really where we're learning to incorporate Lilith out of the shadows back into our life. Like it's actually the upswing of Lilith. So Black Moon Lilith, in Scorpio, it was saying, listen, you really got to look at suffering directly, not dicking around with it. Like for real, look at suffering and recognize that you don't belong there. You don't deserve it. And anything that feels like I'm in suffering because I'm an outcast or whatever the shit. No, you're not. And so Black Moon Lilith going into Sagittarius, I think is going to say you're not under the thumb of any dogma that has ever existed. Ever. You're in control of your own philosophy about life. And if anyone wants to say, well, then, something's wrong with you, or, well, if you really stand up for what you truly believe, then you're going to be attacked, and therefore you shouldn't. Black Moon Lilith is going to say, fuck you, I'm going to do it anyway. And I think that's important for where we are. For where we are right now in the long-term transits that go out into 2020 and further into 2024, Black Moon Lilith and Sagittarius is your asset. It's going to say, I am going to stand up for what I truly believe, and I don't give a fuck what you have to say about it.
I agree. And it's also, that moment when you totally forget what you were going to say.
It's okay. It'll come back. What do you think about the transition between ending suffering and standing up for what you truly believe and being like brazen about it?
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I think that one of the things, I guess, side effects, I guess you would call this, or whatever the case is, it's feeling kind of lack of control at the moment. Like you don't have that much control. It's a side effect of all that's happening. If there's one thing that you have control over right now is yourself. And so come back to in the moment when all this is happening, when that's the side effects of all that you just said, and the side effect of this whole energy is like, I don't know shit from shit. I don't know anything. I don't feel like I'm in control of anything anymore. I feel like this is in the hands of, whatever. Number one, you are a piece to everything that's happening. So you do have a level of control because you have control over yourself. And so right now, what you need to pay attention to is having control over exactly what we've been talking about, over standing for what you believe in, knowing what that even is, making sure that you are crystal clear on it. Hi, Raven.
Thank you for noticing. It's the black cat. Anyway, keep going.
And having that control over that, and that over yourself, your beliefs, your feelings, your emotions, all of these things, addressing that, loving on it, controlling it, and putting it to use does, in essence, control the bigger picture.
Absolutely.
It has a part in that bigger picture. So when you feel like, I don't know what the fuck is happening right now, the answer will always be, I will not get tired of saying that it is going back.
Control how you're going to deal with it. Exactly. So I just want to expand on this a little bit with astrology. Okay. You're a Scorpio sun. I'm Scorpio sun. I'm also Scorpio rising. A lot of this, the way that we understand this, since we just got the shit beat out of us for the last 30 years, is that we're not in control of the lessons that are going to come at us, right? Like, take the lessons, don't resist the lessons. What are you doing?
Right.
But what you can control is how you're going to deal with it. That's where you get your control, right? This is not just a Scorpio issue, like Scorpio sun, Scorpio rising issue. It's an issue about wherever Scorpio lands in your chart, okay? Because Scorpio has been fighting the good fight for literally 30 years. And Scorpio's coming out, right? And so Scorpio's coming out and saying, now I'm ready, now I'm ready, now I'm ready. Scorpio energy, whatever it is in your chart, is willing to say, I will face any lesson, and that's my control.
Yep.
That's my control.
And if we know anything as Scorpios, having gone through that, probably you more so than me, I'm learning this now, is how those lessons come full circle. It's how you're just like, oh, that's why. I learned in lesson number 2, back when I was like 12, I learned this. I'm seeing this now. Like, I'm seeing how honoring that, even though it was what it was, I'm seeing how this is coming to purpose now.
I hear what you're saying, Darlene. That's not a Scorpio issue. That's an age issue.
That's an age issue.
No, really, I was wondering if I should say that because I don't want to be condescending.
No, I mean,
I really want to speak to this. There is a difference between people who are in their Saturn returns, which you are in now, okay, and people who are in their midlife transits, which I just came out of, okay, so that we have that much age gap. There is nothing that is dismissive about what you're going through and what you're learning. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important for people at your age to understand that you're going to go through a completely other transformation between 36 and 43. So where you are now, you feel like it's me going from being a child to an adult and being dependent to being independent. Like, it's really monumental where you feel it now. Recognize that this is not the last incarnation of you.
Right.
It's not. And so, especially now when, like, this is in my age, whenever I was coming up, there was no internet. There were no cell phones. There was nothing. We didn't even have fucking fax. Okay. And we had FACTS, but we didn't have FAX.
Okay. Oh, aha.
You just reacted like a teenager. That is adorable.
I know. I got it after. Oh, God.
Anyway, what I'm saying is that everybody who is coming of age into adulthood right now, you are needed. You are wanted. We want your brilliant minds. We want to hear the inspiration that's coming out of you. We want to hear your fresh perspective because you haven't been dogged down by everything that we've seen. We want it. Give it freely. Okay? Anybody that says, oh, they don't know, I tell you what, they don't understand skateboarding. And that makes them a fucking idiot. I'm serious. I'm serious. If you don't understand skateboarding, you're a fucking idiot. Anyway, we want to hear from you. Please keep your minds fresh and your voice open. Open, 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 open. But don't let the pressure of being an adult push down your youth. Don't let it do that. You have responsibilities. It's true. And you're having to face yourself. You're having to face your demons. You actually are entering into the arena. You really are. Just know that you don't have to have your whole life happen within one hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. You're going to go through a completely other transformation in about 10 years. So just be okay. Be okay with your becoming.
Mm-hmm.
Be okay with your becoming. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be in a becoming. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you never got the chance to go through a becoming, you'd be like, why can't I get in? And then if you just already were, you wouldn't know, I want to say orgasmic. You wouldn't know the orgasmic process of, holy fuck, this is who I am. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So stay with it. Stay with it. You are wise. You are holy. You are regal, no matter what. And let the unfolding of you continue.
I don't think we ever stop.
And I was going to say, until your last breath.
Yeah.
Until your last breath.
Well, like lifetimes.
Right. Lifetimes also. Okay. But in this lifetime, there's the Saturn return. There's the midlife transits. And then you get the Chiron return around 50. And then you go through your second Saturn return. And I'm like, man, keep going. I talk to people in their Saturn returns and beyond, and I'm like, this is the time for you to be vocal. We need to know what you know. We weren't alive then. Please talk. Please talk. And by the time people get past about 40, they start thinking, well, I'm not useful anymore, because the younger generations kind of like, we have better ideas. And I'm like, that's bullshit. Life starts at 40. Life, you don't know who you are until you're 40. I swear to God. And around Chiron return, that's when we need to hear you speak. We need to hear you speak at 50. Please, please speak. And then past that, we need to know how you find peace in a world that never stops changing. And so
it never stops. We're needed. We're
every
always needed.
single cycle is valuable. Every single.
Yeah.
I want to, do you mind if I ask? How do we maintain ourselves through this?
How do we what?
Maintain ourselves through this massive, like, what's happening? How do we maintain ourselves?
Like the current, with what's happening currently in the energy you're talking about? Well.
She's about to drop some knowledge.
It's not even that. Honestly, sometimes I feel like I'm like a broken record. And I'm just I shouldn't say it over and over again.
Yes, you should. This is going on YouTube now. No, but lots of people have never seen you before.
It's going on YouTube.
It's going on YouTube. I feel like that too. I'm like 20 years later, I'm going on YouTube.
It's what you, it's a phrase that you say often, at least to me, that really rings true when it comes to how do you navigate, how do you stay, and it's presence is the new prayer. You know, it's being present and aware, being hyper aware in every moment rather than reactive. It's so important not to be reactive these days, you know? And I can attest to that, how difficult that is not to be reactive. But then when things happen, when things are just fluctuating, you learn to navigate. It's like, I wrote a blog post at one point and I said, you know, love like water. And it's just like being like water where you go with the flow, but you're always,
I love that so much.
Right?
Yes.
But it's strong enough. Water is strong enough and it's persistent enough in its truth to break down rocks. To break down, to cause an actual indentation in this huge rock that's an obstacle in its way. And it's just persistent by being true to who it is, to what it is. And being present.
Love like water.
Yes. That's on my blog post. I
love it.
And that's really what it is. And just being there and coming back to self and being as fierce as you are and being true to your nature. And that takes knowing, right? That takes a lot of knowing. I went to therapy today. Therapy's okay, guys.
Oh, I go every week. I do every single week without fail.
I went to therapy today and it never fails because I went to a new therapist. It never fails. Then when, they have to go through all your history and I get the look where they're just like,
are you making this up?
Yeah. And even just like,
I get it too.
Even just like in 2015 to 2016 alone, like I just get through that year alone and they're just like,
right. And you're like, I didn't even go back to when I was 5. Buckle up, bitch. Here we go.
Buckle up. Let me tell you about my teenage years.
That's so funny. Oh my God.
Right. And I get all this look where they're just like, how? So I can attest that it can be difficult. It can be difficult to find yourself and love on yourself when you've gone through so much.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to find who you were or who you are underneath the layers and layers and layers of crap that you feel like life has put on you.
So what's the authority that you have now in guiding people?
What's the what now?
So what's the authority you have now in guiding people to love themselves, to come back into wholeness? Because I'm telling you, we go through cycle after cycle after cycle where you bring me back to life. And I don't even ask for it. It just happens.
Yeah.
And this last cycle, first of all, I think you're underpriced. And so I was like, I'm the boss of everything. And I paid you double to rebrand me.
She did. And it was hard for me.
It's worth every single fucking dollar. So
I still can't believe you did that.
Well, just get over it.
Susan's the only person that I know that I'm like not allowed to say how much she pays me. She's like, no, no, I will not pay you that much.
I'm not paying you.
I will pay you double. And I'm just like, I didn't ask for double.
I will not pay you. I will not pay you that little. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what she says. She's like, no, I pay you your worth. How much do you charge everybody else? So and so. I will give you double that. I'm like, this is not an auction, Susan.
Okay, so can you talk? Like, I've been through this cycle with you several times. Can you talk about how you look at someone who's like on their knees, and you think, okay, here's what we're gonna do?
I don't have an answer for that.
Yes, you do.
Is that weird?
It can be simple. Okay, here's what I know you do. First of all, is you get in there with me and you're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to sit right here and we're going to figure out what the fuck is happening. Yeah, it's like you're literally in the well with me. Like, hey, I'm going to sit down right here with you. Do you have any crackers? No? Okay, well, that figures because we're in a well. But that's
I got some crumbs, though. Want some crumbs? This is so hard for me.
Just do it.
Hard for me.
Just talk.
That is who I am, right? That is what I came here to do. Like, I speak for and am here for the people who have those layers, who are down in the well and have layers and layers and layers upon them because of what they've been through. And it makes me want to cry because I get to feel them and see them as clear as I'm looking at my screen right now. Clear.
Yeah, and Veronica says that you ask the right questions. That's how Darlene leads you to your answers. And I totally agree, because you ask really compelling questions for people who are on their knees. When someone's on their knees, you get down on their level, on the floor, and you look at them and you're like, I'm looking at you and I'm listening to you. Tell me, what breaks your heart? And then people tell you, and they're like, and you're like, there we go.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to start.
Because I see it, I see the answer. Here's the thing. I see the answer. But if I sit here and give you all the answers, how am I bringing you back to yourself? You need to answer it yourself. You need to have.
You're not.
To have, I'm sorry?
I was saying, yeah, you're not saving them if you give them the answers. But you ask the right questions so they know themselves.
Yes, exactly.
I say it all the time. Like, every time I work with you, it's like being reintroduced to myself. It's like falling in love again. Like, I really, honest to God, when we were going to rebrand this time, I was like, okay, well, we'll just rebrand and blah, 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 blah. And then like you're like, hang on, we need to talk. And we started talking and I was like, Oh my God. I love myself so much. And then you built a brand on top of that. I'm like, exactly. Yes. Oh. It broke my heart right open. Right open.
Yeah, it's a process that I'm in love with seeing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
In people.
Okay, we are 2 minutes to the hour, and I want to say that we are going to go an hour to 15 minutes, if that's okay with you, because we were yammering about bullshit at the beginning. Let's do Q&A. Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
17 minutes for the recording, and then after that, only after hours people will get it.
After party.
After party.
Molly Kindred, which I love dearly, says, Susan, are you referring to the fall of Atlantis as the age of suffering coming in, and that this may trigger any souls who were a part of that time too? And this is why it is so damn fucking important that we hold the light, because we back, baby.
Because we back, baby.
Because we back, baby.
Yeah, it's not triggering. We are here on purpose because we were part of the fall, and we've earned our ticket into the rising. There are countless souls who have tried to come in to this current incarnation to feel that rise up out of darkness, and they didn't get a ticket because they weren't part of the fall. And it's basically a policy of, listen, if these people who experience that fall get the first tickets for the rising, and I don't know what to tell you, eat shit. And so we're like, suck it, bitches.
Dallas over here. All righty. Ooh, this is a good question. So happy that Sterling is asking this question for you, Susan. It's almost like the question you just asked me.
God.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
I feel like I'm in 6th grade at the spelling bee. I won that spelling bee, God damn it.
I won one, and I can't remember which grade in elementary school.
How can you not know?
Because
that is the greatest thing of your life.
I repressed all my memories. Shit, I don't remember past.
We're gonna give you a new spelling bee, and you're gonna win it, and I'm gonna give you a crown.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway.
How does your understanding of astrology differ from the occult, which elites subscribe to? I was just so excited to read that one.
Okay. I'm not going to address occult or elites. I'm not.
Apparently, I'm the leader of a cult.
Here's how I read astrology. You'll never see me on the grand wall of who knows all of the scientific nuts and bolts of astrology ever, and who can name every asteroid and how it affects all the time and the public figures in history or whatever. Like, I don't give a fuck. And so the difference in how I read astrology is I read astrology empathically. I feel it. And I don't really care if people, I don't think it's people, I think it's mostly men. I think it's mostly men astrologers. I said it. I think it's mostly male astrologers who are hell-bent on the nuts and bolts of astrology without feeling it all the way through, who might disagree with my posts. And I don't really give a shit. I think the future of astrology is through the divine feminine. And if you're not reading through how you feel empathically, you're sucking at your job. Hardcore. I don't give a fuck how many hours you spend in Facebook groups where there's a male circle jerk about who knows more about the nuts and bolts of astrology. You're not. It's just a big fucking ego fest. You either feel it or get out.
Boom. She has spoken. In my experience with Susan, I feel that Susan translates empathically. I think that she translates it in a way that I have never seen anybody ever translate a chart. That freaking chart comes to life and starts dancing around and speaking to you. And it's,
yeah, the charts open up for me, and really guides come in super fast because I have a wide open channel, and I'm about to start recording a new class series, and I think I'm gonna call it Empathic Astrology, where I teach you how to read charts with empathic abilities, how to feel a chart. I don't need to teach you nuts and bolts. There's lots of dudes out there being like, this is what Mars says, but they don't fucking feel what Mars is actually doing. And so, yeah, I'm going to teach a series of videos on classes about how I read charts. And I think I'm going to call it Empathic Astrology.
Chris is home.
Chris is
yeah,
home?
I think that the way
Well,
that
you need to tell. Oh God.
I think that she reads it like that. And another thing that I love about
is he stripping?
Are you stripping? They want to know.
Huh?
Are you stripping? They want to know.
Take off your shirt.
There are 70 people on this hangout watching you strip,
shirt.
and they're all like, "Yes."
What?
Stop!
I'm done. Babe, that's for me.
Oh, that's sweet.
Okay,
11 minutes before we cut off the recording.
Okay, but
let's flow through them.
Say this.
Okay.
I need to say this. Okay, because it's really important. I think that people really like to. Susan reads astrology in a way that sets you up for success. She sets it up where she says, this is your tendency, but this is how you overcome that. Where I feel like a lot of other people out there do the opposite. Like, oh, this is what it is. And it keeps you coming back.
Right. Like I've gotten readings from lots of astrologers, and every single one reads my chart as, here's how you're super fucked. Okay.
Right.
That's not helpful.
Well, because like we always say, astrology is
the astrology never sets you up to fail. Never. And so I read charts as, here's the highest intention of the energies, and here's how you can use it, and here's where your suffering is, and here's how other energies are trying to heal you. I try to give you tools to come out of your suffering.
Yes.
Come out of your suffering.
Yes.
And to not fall into it. And anything that feels like Pluto's super detrimental, so is Saturn. Neptune can be, I think Neptune gets a bad rap. But every chart gives you a clue on how to handle it. And I would say, never trust an astrologer who is telling you how you're bad. Never.
Yep.
Just shut them down.
Or how anything is
bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. The next question. There's a lot of astrology questions, but you gave a lot of astrology today. Susan, you previously mentioned that at this eclipse, we will find out what our purpose is. Can you expand on that? I definitely feel antsy, anxious, ready to go. I just don't know where or what.
Who is that?
Sylvia.
Okay, I don't think I've read for Sylvia. I might have. Okay, so generally speaking, purpose is going to point towards Sagittarius. We're in an eclipse that's in a pentacle. The base of the pentacle says we must stand up well for ourselves and stand up well for ourselves and be willing to own our true identity and understand that we need each other to follow our hearts. Basically is the mystic rectangle, but the whole thing is pointing towards Saturn and the galactic center in Sagittarius, and it says you must stand up for what you truly believe right fucking now, right now. So without looking at someone's chart, I would say look at what you truly believe. If you truly believe in being vegan, like, be the next Uber for vegan food delivery. You know what I'm saying? Like, go for it. Full tilt, hit it.
Absolutely. And I think that the question that I ask everybody, and like you said earlier, the question that it will always be important, especially nowadays with this energy, with so much crap going on around the world, what breaks your heart?
What breaks your heart? I know. And I repeated that the other day to a client of mine. Like, I'm like, you know what Darlene says, what breaks your heart? And that client said, well, I don't want my heart broken. I was like, no, you're missing the point of the question. What makes your heart ache? And that's where you're needed.
Right.
That's where you're needed. Mm-hmm. What makes your heart ache? What breaks your heart? What makes you go, ah? Because you're not meant to live like that.
Right.
If it hurts like that, you're meant to do something about it.
Yep.
It's turning suffering into compassion.
It's
into vision.
Alchemy.
It's self-alchemy.
And
really it's also Chiron and Pisces right now. Chiron and Pisces is really trying to push Chiron, which people say is the unhealable wound or the wounded healer, whatever the fuck, which I totally disagree with. It's trying to turn Chiron into some place where you are now healed, and therefore you can heal the world. Heal yourself, heal the world.
Yep. It's really important. And these days, right, with the energy happening, people are getting their heart broken over a lot of things. Pay attention. Again, presence is the new prayer. Pay really close attention. Connect with yourself. Again, shameless plug, the 4-week mentorship would really.
Oh my God, totally sign up for it. Yes.
Really help.
You need to do this with Darlene. And Darlene, another reason why you should work with Darlene is because I've seen her chart, and I hope you don't mind if I share this. I won't get into specifics, but Darlene's chart is being hit in a way that the pain of the world is about to boom her purpose. So if I were you, well, prices are reasonable. I underpriced, if she'll ever listen to me. I would get in with Darlene right fucking now. Darlene is about to take off in a huge way in answer to the heartache of the world. I would get in with her immediately. She gifted me to be in this cycle that's about to come up. I would have gladly paid her, but sometimes I have to be like, fine, Darlene, I'll do what you say. So I'm going to be in this first cycle. Okay. I would sign up for being in here with Darlene. Darlene's chart says she will be leading people the way forward. And I've already been coaching her about do not give into, oh, we're totally fucked. Because people are going to be looking towards her to understand, how do we deal with this? And she's like, I'm in. I'm game. Here we go.
Angie, the mentorship is now Monday through Friday. If you go to xoxdarling.com, you'll see the self-alchemy in the top, and you'll see all the details. We pick one day out of the week to get on a live webinar like this, and we're all on the video, so we all we hang out. We have a Facebook
and there's a Facebook group too where we can talk all the time.
Yep, and a Q&A as well that happens in Facebook, like a Facebook Live Q&A. You've got a weekly audio that I send out. You've got my sacred self journal that I'm sending out by mail. I mean,
your ritual stuff is in there too, right?
You get my ritual e-course.
It's ridiculous. You have to do it. It's ridiculous. And you're charging like what you should be charging is way, 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 way higher than what you're charging.
It's seriously supposed to be going up to 333. But I brought it, the first cycle around is 150, which is like $40 over my hour, my session for.
So one session, and you've got like a month.
Yeah.
Like you're dumb to not do it.
PayPal.
I'm sorry. I take that back. People aren't dumb.
Susan. We got 3 minutes left. Next question. My sun is 22 degrees Leo in my 7th house, and I'm trying to understand how this eclipse full moon is affecting my relationships with others. Any ideas?
Okay. Sun is at 22 Leo.
In her 7th house.
In her Sun 22, which would be on the moon, and then opposite Sun 22 Aquarius in her 1st house. So trying to figure out what?
Figure out how it's affecting, how the eclipse full moon is affecting her relationships with others.
Okay. First of all, you need a reading. And so I don't want to get bogged down into individual people's charts because we only have like a few minutes left.
And there's so many other moving parts to the chart.
Yeah, and so I don't want to take away from everybody else's attention. So get a reading with me. But I will say that, listen, the trick to get out of this eclipse season, because I've already looked at the next eclipse season and this part of the world's fall, I'm telling you, the trick is to come back home to yourself, to not put yourself in the hands of some greater other, and to link up into sacred unions. Sacred unions are going to lead you to purpose. You must become fully aware of who you are and link up in unions that speak to that, and not worry about, oh my God, I don't know how to handle this. You're going to handle it fine. Just fucking do it. Okay? Sacred union and purpose, and come back home to yourself. I'm telling you, that's the theme of the year. Just do it. No matter what happens around you. Something is going to happen around you to make you freak out and go, I don't know what to do. And just listen to me. Sacred union and purpose, and come back home to yourself. That's right. What you do. That's what you do. You're not in the hands of something greater than you. You're the greatest part of you. That's it.
That greater part of that hand of the greater other that you feel is in control right now is within you. Like, can we forget that we forgot that?
Oh, that's an illusion. Like, oh, I'm in the hands of this. No,
it's all in you. It's all in you.
That's like the Wizard of Oz going, I'm so big and blah, 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 blah. And you pull back the curtain, it's like, you're not shit. What the fuck? I had the shoes on me the whole time. What the hell am I been talking about?
Had the shoes on the whole time, which, again, it's you. It's there, but it's you. It's not going to get into that right now. It's there, but it's you.
You're like, I'm not going to talk about the shoes.
Not going to talk about the shoes.
Okay, you want to go 5 more minutes before we cut it off?
5 more minutes, y'all.
No, I think we cut it. No, I think we cut it. We have to have an incentive for people to show up live.
You guys have to show up next time live, everybody in YouTube.
Okay, everybody in chat, stay here. We're going to keep going. We're going to cut off the timing and the recording right now. Hi, YouTube. Come see us live.
Yes, come see us live. In the description, you will see the link to where you can get more information on the next Hangout.
And where to find you and me, right?
Yep. And again, you can find me at www.xoxdarling.com. I am on Instagram, although I don't know for how long, because I don't know. Instagram is XOX_darling. Facebook is facebook.com/XOXdarling. You can find me there if you're interested in the 4-week membership. Registration closes at the 26th, I believe, of this month, and there's only 10 spots available. In order for me to be able to give enough of my attention to those 10 people. So there's only 10 spots available. Keep that in mind. And that's where you can find me. How about you, Susan?
I do daily, I try to do daily astrological reads for the astrology for the collective on social media. That's at Facebook and on Instagram at Susan Grace or Susan Grace Astro. You can find me on my website, which is about to launch tomorrow in a brand new way. Woot! Tomorrow. SusanGrace.org. You can order sessions with me. I do individual chart readings. I do backup readings after you've had a chart reading with me. I also do a 4-week chunk of readings where we totally get into completely your soul and your suffering and also your joy and your purpose, and uncover everything that you need to know about you if you want to do an intensive with me. And I love doing those. That's my favorite. I'm also going to be doing a monthly love letter by email if you sign up for be sending out blog on my new website that fleshes out the astrology of I normally write in verse on social media. On my blog, I'm going to be fleshing out about the theory behind why I'm speaking like I am. So I'm going to be website-based, not social media-based. You want to go to my website. Okay, we're going to cut off recording, right?
Yes.
And thank you, everyone who's seen this replay. We're going to go into after hours for everyone who's live.
We love you guys. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube.
See you at the new moon. The new moon, yeah?
New moon.